Hey everybody, Heather, owner of Sunkiss'd Travel here. We have one of our agents, Brian. He is a master in Norwegian Cruise Line. So let's talk to Brian today. Hi, Brian.
How are you, Heather?
I'm good. How are you?
Chilly, but we're making it through.
Where are you at?
Up in Connecticut.
Nice. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about Norwegian today. How many cruises have you been on with them?
With Norwegian, 9.
9. Wow. Do you have a favorite?
We do. We've been on the Norwegian Gem 5 or 6 times. Just
Wow.
on that's our favorite.
That's awesome. What cabin do you guys typically like to stay in?
When we first started our very first cruise, we thought we were going high class, and we got a balcony.
Oh.
So that's where we started.
Uh-huh.
And then ever since then we've kind of gone up. Now our favorites are the 2-bedroom suites. Having a teenager and having him have his own space, and just more room for the chilly start, because we've always cruised out of New York.
Oh, okay.
So it's usually a chilly start, and it just gives us more room to kind of spread out and relax and
That makes sense.
do our thing.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. So where all have you guys taken your cruises to?
We've done Florida, Bahamas, and a couple different itineraries in the Caribbean.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. So you guys are a cruising family then?
Yes, we love it.
That's awesome. I love it. For someone who hasn't been on a cruise before, what type of room would you typically recommend someone?
I think it depends, and this is where travel advisors come in.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you're looking for, what's important to you.
Absolutely.
Is it more of a budget conscious cruise? Do you want to go all out? Do you want to go top tier haven, balcony? There's balconies, mini suites, and other like penthouse suites, and there's the haven. Then there's interior ocean view. So it's all personal preference. Definitely, if you're going to go with more than just 2 people, you're going to want something bigger than an interior.
Yes, I would agree with that.
They do accommodate families in interiors.
Okay.
I've never had the pleasure of attempting that. But again, it's all dependent on the person and what they're looking for.
Of course.
I suggest going all out.
I mean, why not, right?
Right?
For someone who's new to Norwegian, what is the number one thing you recommend they do on board of a ship?
As much as possible. And again, it's personal preference. If you like shows, they have fantastic shows. Broadway style shows on the stage. They're phenomenal.
Absolutely.
They have comedians. They have magicians, musicians. There's little areas, like little bars and stuff throughout the ship that'll have somebody playing a guitar or piano and singing, or karaoke, or they do in the atriums with the big screens. They do like Deal or No Deal, different game shows and things like that. They get the Wii out, and you play. It's like a 2-story screen, and you can play Wii. So I mean, there's so much to do. You don't even have to get off the ship, and you'll never be bored.
That's crazy.
So do as much as you can.
Let's see. Do you think that you need a passport when you go on a cruise?
I do. Now, the cruise industry will tell you that you do not need one if you're starting in a U.S. port and ending in a U.S. port. You don't need a passport to do that part. But heaven forbid something happens, you miss the ship, you get sick, you have to go to the hospital. If you don't get back onto that ship and you need to get home from another country, it's going to be quite a headache if you don't have your passport. So it's highly recommended that you have your passport. We've always had them, and thank goodness we've never had to use them. But you don't want to be rummaging around at the consulate or whatever trying to get home if you're sick, injured, or if you just missed the ship. And the great thing about it is if you can't get back on the ship will or can go to your room, get your passport, and get it off of the ship to you. And that way, when it's time to come home, it's just one less headache.
Absolutely. Yeah, we always recommend, no matter what, just to bring your passport. You never know what can happen. Anything can happen on a vacation. And it's just best to CYA, truthfully.
Right.
Um,
And it's not something you have to carry off the ship with you at every port. You leave it right in your safe on the ship, and it's there if you need it.
Absolutely. It's just better to have it than to not have it and need it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Is Norwegian Cruise Line all inclusive? Like an all inclusive, like food, drinks?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking for a budget conscious cruise, you can go on. You pay your initial your whole fee. So there's buffets and there's restaurants that you can eat at for free, and there's free beverages available, non-alcoholic. So you don't have to spend any more money if you're really looking to stay on a budget. But there are packages you can buy, and right now they're offering deals and stuff where you can pick two, whether it's the drink package. So if you don't drink, I mean, if you're drinking maybe 2 drinks a day, my opinion, it's not worth purchasing the drink package. You can use that to get Wi-Fi or specialty dining or things like that. And then, so the drink package is extra unless it's one of the inclusions. Sometimes they run deals where you can get all 5, so you don't have to worry about it. It's all there. When you're in port and you use the drink package in a U.S. port, you do have to still pay tax on the drink, but the drink is free. So it's like $1 or $2 per drink while you're in a U.S. port. But anything else is the tips are all included.
Awesome.
All that, and the taxes are all included. And then, like I said, the food you can eat at the buffet, you can eat at the free restaurants, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it doesn't cost any extra. But they do have a dining plan where you can eat at specialty restaurants. Our favorite is teppanyaki, where they cook right at your table, and it's an awesome show. So it's dinner and a show. They have really cool, fantastic. We always usually eat dinner at a specialty restaurant.
Okay.
Just because it's the food is still made the same way. It's different. It's a little better quality. You get the table service. And one thing with the dining with Norwegian is you don't have a set time every day to eat.
Oh, okay.
You can make reservations. You can go to the buffet whenever you want when they're open. You can walk into one of the inclusive restaurants anytime. If there's a wait list, they put you on the wait list, but there's not a set time you have to do anything.
So is there not like the main, so like on typical cruises, you have like the main dining time and everybody sometimes you get a shared table. Sometimes if your party's big enough, you get one single table to yourself, and that is at a specific time. So does Norwegian not do that?
They will do, if you want to make a reservation, if you have a large party, you can make a reservation, but you're not required to be anywhere at any specific time, which is the freestyle portion of what Norwegian does, which again fits our lifestyle a little bit better. It's great on port days, so you don't have to be back on the ship at a certain time to eat. If you're still going to be in port, at 8 o'clock at night, you don't have to be back on at 5 o'clock to eat your dinner. And then when you do the a suite and above, there's a separate restaurant that you eat breakfast and lunch at. That you have to be in a suite or above. And it's just you show up, sit down, and it's table service. And then in the Haven, if you go all the way to the Haven, they have their own restaurant. That's just for Haven guests.
That's crazy.
Where they can eat. So all inclusive, yes, but no. There are extras that you can add on and pay for, which again are I recommend, just because the food is phenomenal.
Sure.
But again, we've eaten at the buffet, never had a bad meal on a cruise, and I don't miss many meals. And so,
do you think Norwegian is kid friendly?
It is. When we first started cruising They had Nickelodeon, they had SpongeBob and all that on when we started cruising with them, and then they separated. But no, they have a kids club, um, and it's separated by age group. They do some pretty cool stuff. Like the little kids will do a scavenger hunt all around the ship. They'll get all dressed up as pirates, and they'll sing songs, and they'll do a march, and they'll do their thing all through the ship.
So are they guided then?
It is, yeah. They have staff that works right in. That's what they do. They work in the kids club, and then my son now is old enough to go into the teens club, which is video games and music and hang out, and so it's a little less structured. But the little kids areas are more structured, and they have different themed things throughout the day and night.
That's awesome. So I think I heard something along the lines of there being a go-kart track on one of the ships.
There is. It's the Norwegian Joy, I believe.
I
No,
think so.
Getaway. One of them. I haven't been on it yet.
Oh, okay.
But it looks awesome. It's like a 2-deck kind of go-kart track and goes around the top and then down in and around.
Sure.
Most of the ships have sports court. They all have a sports court, basketball. Some of them have rock climbing, ropes course. The first ship I've ever been on that had a ropes course was the Breakaway.
That's crazy.
And it's insane. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do, and then there is a difference between the big ships that have that stuff and the smaller ships. We're more smaller ship people.
Okay.
It's a little more laid back. On the bigger ships, you're going to want to make reservations for everything you do. So it's a little less freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So any shows, any dinner theaters or anything like that, you're going to want to make reservations before you even cruise. So when as soon as those open up, you're going to want to make your reservations. But on the smaller ships, like the Jewel class and the Dawn class ships, there's no need to make reservations. Just go in and there's usually plenty of seating.
That's fantastic. Do you think that there's cruise itineraries that are more adult geared than children geared?
Yes, I would say like the Canada, New England.
Sure.
Cruises
Older
on
kids
the
or like adult?
The Canada, New England is more. I would say it's more adult oriented. It's more about the sightseeing and the history and
Okay.
and like that and the areas you stop. But I mean, like I said, every ship has things for everybody to do.
Sure.
So if you're not there to, enjoy the leaf peeping, if you will, on a Canada, New England in September, there's other things that you can do. And I would say anything that stops at the private island, Great Stirrup Cay or Great Stirrup Key, depending on who you're talking to. It's insane again. And there's kid stuff, there's family stuff, there's adult stuff. And again, they have these not bungalows, but cabanas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They have different areas of cabanas. They have open air cabanas. Then they have over on the other side. It's a more luxury, I guess, where there's an actual. It's enclosed. It's air conditioned. There's your own private bathroom, your own refrigerator. It's a private beach, and we've been in those as well in different cabana.
Now, do you rent those or are those included?
Yes. No, those are extra.
Okay.
And they can get a little pricey. Again, it's whatever you look. I think the cheapest cabana, one of the open air ones, the original ones, I think are around $200 or $300 for the day.
Okay.
And then they go up from there. Now they just opened up where they have 2-bedroom cabanas.
Wow.
Which we haven't stayed in a 2-bedroom. I don't see the need for a bedroom for the day, but my thought is eventually they're going to be doing some overnight stuff there, which we're hoping for. The only, I guess it would be a downside with this is there's no docks. You have to tender in.
Okay.
And they have like the old boats that would land on the beaches with soldiers or whatever, and that's what you tender in on. I think they're fun. My wife has to take an extra Dramamine before we get on it because they rock pretty good. But
Gotcha.
I mean, they're fun. They get you there and
Okay.
get you back. So
Have you done excursions with Norwegian
every time, yeah,
every
we, we
time?
try
Are they
we
worth
try.
it, you think?
They are. Now we've done both on our own
Okay.
and Norwegian and through Norwegian.
Sure.
If you do an excursion on your own, you kind of take that chance that you're not going to get back to the pier in time, and you're going to be one of the pier runners, which we've had several on our cruises, and it's great because everybody stands out on their balcony and claps and hoots and hollers and as people are running down the pier to get on the ship.
That's awesome.
So I mean that's a chance you take. If you do if you go through Norwegian, you're guaranteed they're not going to leave without you. So if
Oh,
the
okay.
tour runs over, the ship stays longer, and you're not going to miss the ship to go on to the next port. So we've done both. Luckily, we never had to run to get back on. But all of ours were just fantastic. The one port we missed the most is Samana in Dominican Republic.
Ah,
We did a 4-wheeler tour through the rainforest and through the local villages and things, and stopped at. I mean, essentially, to us, they're huts. To them, to the locals, that's their house. And they made us homemade bread, homemade hot chocolate. We had a chicken barbecue at one of the villages. It was all worked out with the local tour guide and all that with the locals. And it was one of the best experiences we've ever had.
that sounds exciting. Sounds like something I need to go do.
It's phenomenal, and
Awesome.
it's a guy that came from the United States, moved to Dominican Republic, and he operates the tours there. And Norwegian has similar ones,
Sure.
but this one was by far the best experience we've ever had.
That's fantastic. So obviously highly recommended.
Oh, of course.
Awesome. Well, is there anything that you think anybody needs to know in booking Norwegian?
It can be a little, as with anything, if you're not really used to doing it, it can be a little cumbersome, but using a travel advisor, obviously,
Right.
and those that have booked we've done both. We've booked on our own, plus we've used a travel agent in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and using a travel agent by far is, I mean, it's the way to go.
Smoother.
It is because when you use a travel, you can call that person and say, hey, is there any deals that I'm missing? And then that person looks, and so all the back end stuff is done. All you have to do is just enjoy it,
Right.
and obviously pay for it. But their cruises are, to me, they're worth way more because you're not just getting the one destination in the ship. You're getting all the destinations that they stop at.
Mm-hmm.
And each port has, you don't even have to book anything. You just get off the ship and walk around the town, like St. Thomas, St. Martin. Tortola is one of the newer ones that we stopped at. And there's different tours. You have to get off that ship to get onto another boat if you want to go someplace else. But again, it's well worth it
Sure.
to check out those different areas.
Sounds like you guys make lots of family memories.
We did, and we've cruised with just the three of us. We've cruised with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and niece. We've cruised with friends. We took my mother-in-law. We took her on a cruise with us, and actually made lifelong friends on that cruise we met, and we still talk to them to this day. We've even cruised with some of them again on purpose. So
That's awesome.
it's awesome. It's awesome, especially when you cruise out of a local port. Like I said, we've only gone out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
So we've driven, we've taken the train, we've taken a limo. So we've gotten there all these different ways just to try them all out. And I recommend the limo.
Right? Why not?
Why not?
I love it. Well, thank you for joining me today, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Oh, happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sunkiss'd Travel. We are here to help. Obviously, Brian is our Norwegian Cruise Line expert. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to him. Also, make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, hit that the notification button. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow Brian at Sunkiss'd Travel by Brian. And we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks.